weather's turning. The snow's falling. The elk are calling. And you're starting to think of another cold, wet hunting season. The Clarry Pellet Stove is going to change that experience entirely. It's easy to assemble, simple to light, requires no power, and will keep your tent as warm and comfortable as your own family room. Prior to placing it in your tent for the first time, you'll need to burn it in for 20 minutes to set the stove paint. Using the directions that follow, bring it to operating temperature or to the point where it stops smoking. And any time you light the stove, make sure the chimney is not directly below a low-hanging tree branch. A fair amount of heat will leave the stovepipe, and you don't want to start a fire. If the stove has already been burned in, you can unload it directly from your vehicle into your tent. Included are the stove body, legs, hopper, and stovepipe. Inside the stove, you'll find the grate and ash drawer. Once you've moved everything into position, it will take less than 5 minutes to assemble the parts and set up the stove. And that can be done by just one person. The rails alongside the stove make it easy to carry. They also conveniently store the legs. Tip the stove on end, insert the legs, and loosely tighten the set screws. Now, move the stove into an upright position. There's no need to level the area under the stove. Just adjust the legs and then finish tightening the set screws. You're now ready to insert the stovepipe. It's important to know if your tent's chimney opening is in the sidewall or the ceiling of the tent, as you'll need a different pipe configuration for each version. And finally, you'll put the pellet hopper in place. Make sure that the manual shutoff gate is closed. Fill the hopper with one 40-pound bag of premium hardwood pellets, but never use pellets from a previously opened bag. They may have drawn moisture. Now open the shutoff gate, allowing the pellets to drop into position in the firebox. By the way, you'll want to tighten the set screw in the shutoff gate so you don't misplace it. Next, you'll open the ash drawer. A few pellets will have fallen through the fire grate. That's okay. Squeeze a liberal amount of liquid gel fire starter into the drawer, aiming at the bullseye. Light it with a match. Push the drawer in until you reach the first notch. This will allow plenty of air for the fire to start. Once the fire is burning, close the drawer down to the second notch and push the upper door into it. This will allow some air control for the fire. That's all there is to it. There's no electricity required for a fan or auger. There's no damper. As fuel is consumed, pellets will keep sliding down into the firebox, and your fire will continue to burn. Within just a few minutes, you'll begin to feel the heat coming from the stove, and by the time you finish setting up camp, the tent will be comfortably warm. That 40-pound bag of premium-grade pellets will provide enough fuel for 8 hours of welcome heat. Just imagine, no more bone-chilling camps. You and your friends will be warm and snug without having to continually tend the fire. When you're getting ready to go hunting for the day, close the manual shutoff gate to keep any more pellets from sliding into the firebox, and leave the ash drawer open. The fire will go completely out in about 20 minutes. This is also what you'll do when it's time to leave for home. After the fire goes out, you'll remove the small amount of fine ash and dispose of it as recommended by the Forest Service or Bureau of Land Management. Once the stove is cooled down, you'll be ready to dismantle it for the trip home. The demonstration we've just shown you is for the larger Clarry Pellet Stove. The Hunter's model weighs approximately 100 pounds and is typically used by elk hunters or others on cold weather excursions to remote locations. A smaller fish house model of the stove is also available. It weighs just 50 pounds and is recommended for ice fishermen or pack trips. The process for assembling and lighting this model is the same, with one exception. You'll only open the ash drawer 1/2 inch to control the amount of air reaching the flame. Both models of the stove will produce just the amount of heat you need, although the smaller model will actually burn over 12 hours on one bag of fuel. Finally, cleaning the stove when you're using it for an extended period of time is extremely important. After the fire is out, or every 24 hours, we recommend that you remove the ash drawer and dispose of the ash. You should also remove the grates and clean them with a wire brush. And we recommend that you pull the stovepipe once a week and check it for any accumulation of soot. As you can see, it's very easy to assemble, operate, and maintain the Clarry Pellet Stove. It was designed by an elk hunter for other hunters. He learned from many years of experience how tough it is to get warm once you've been chilled to the bone. The Clarry team knows that this stove will add many years of newfound comfort to your outdoor adventures. Happy hunting!